everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. What I have today is a piece that I've actually had for a while, and I've been meaning to trot it out. I just haven't gotten to it yet, but we have one from Jazwares' Spartan Collection, the Spartan Yoroi, and I have no doubt that I am mispronouncing that, and I am sorry to anybody whose ears I am making bleed, but Yoroi is pretty much how I'm going to be saying it throughout this video, so you have been warned. Now, this one is very unique. I love this samurai look to it. I know some people in the Halo community don't like this armor because it doesn't look anything like... Where's it at? Doesn't look anything like Spartan armor that we've come to know and love. But, I don't know. Like, I just really, really love these armors that they went off the rails on, especially with the Master Chief Collection. That you have like samurai looking armor, you have armor that looks like Centurions, you have armor that looks like, I can't remember all of the knights. I just really thought it was interesting the different looks they were giving for the multiplayer modes. So what we have here is Jazwares' typical packaging for their Spartan Collection. This dark green with some light green on the name, the Spartan Collection down the side, the UNSC logo up top. On the back, we have a nice promotional image of the figure right here. We also have the cross-sell with the rest of the figures, Master Chief himself, June, which we have, Spartan Enigma, which I haven't picked up yet, and Master Chief from Halo 2, something else that we've taken a look at here on this channel. On this side, we have the wraparound window with the UNSC logo emblazoned in the plastic. On this side, pretty plain with just a picture of the figure up top, and on the bottom, blank. So, we've seen the packaging before. Let's just get this open, let's get him out, and let's take a look at Jazwares, the Spartan Collection, Spartan Yoroi. Alright friends, here he is, Spartan Yoroi out of his packaging, and you know how when we look at these Spartan figures, I tell you, I really can't recommend these for anybody but myself. It's so frustrating that this one, it's more true with this one than pretty much any of the other ones we took a look at, and that's kind of killing me inside because I really want to like this figure, and I really want to be able to recommend this, and I really want you guys to have a big suit of samurai power armor in your collection, but you'll see once we get to it. First, let's put the tape measure to him, and we see that Samurai Yoroi stands at 7 inches to the top of his helmet. Now we're going to bring him forward, and we're going to take a look at his sculpt and his paint, which is actually really good, but then we're going to take a look at his articulation. So like I said, let's start with sculpt and paint work first, because that is really good. First of all, look at the chrome job on this yellow visor right here in his samurai helmet. That is really good. I really love when they get that real shiny chrome in there. And I don't know if you can see, but there's even like a secondary design etched into it, like it's almost like scowling eyes looking at you through the visor. That's really cool. I really like the attention to detail they gave on the helmet and the face mask on here. The horns coming up are a very flexible plastic, which I know some people don't like that, but I like that because they're not going to break, and if they do get deformed, you can always heat them up, mold them back into position. These side pieces here are very stiff, and they're very thick too. They're molded into the helmet. I really like how the gold on here isn't so much that all of this is touch-up paint to the helmet, but you can see that like the crimson, the red of the armor around the helmet has worn away, like it was caught up in battle. There he has his port on the back of his noggin. Like, this is all battle damage. Like, he has seen some stuff. You can even see it down here on his chin. And that's one thing I don't think I talk about enough with these Jazwares figures, is the weathering, the battle damage, the wear to the armor is very well done. The paint apps on these are actually really excellent. You can even see it here in his shoulder pads, how he has that damage in there in the red and the gold as well, down here on his bracers, even some scuffing on the back of his hand right here. And I really like the scalloped look, this etching here in the breastplate, in the armor. You can see the twin marks on either side, how right here it's kind of like old meets new, how it's this old, ancient looking samurai armor connecting to his newer, more modern pack, which he does have a backpack on here, like the other Spartans do, which I'm assuming this would be like power supply, life support, things like that. Now, this piece right here, it does come out. It does come out, but you can see it's very difficult to get out because there's no way to get a true grip on this. You kind of just got to keep putting pressure on it until it finally comes out. Okay, there, that finally came out, and you can see that you can turn it around, and you have the back peg there for holstering weapons on his back. That is the only spot we have, because once we get down to the legs, you'll see that the legs don't have the hip points like the backpack does. I'm not going to try and take that out again right now. But you can also see the detail along the spine plate right there. The skirting looks really good. And once again, you get like a little bit of that battle damage right here on the skirt. And this is actually a very soft rubber so that it gets out of the way of the leg articulation. The only thing I don't like about this is that it's not connected at the back. It's only connected right there at one point at the front, which worries me that eventually that might rip and it might come off. Or is it just pegged in there? No, I think it's just pegged in there. Hold on. I'm not going to try and pull it out. I might rip it. But it looks like, yeah, there's a single peg in there that may or may not be glued, but I'm not going to find out right now. But this is also a very flexible piece of plastic. So even though it looks like his legs would be traffic coned by this, it's not. The legs will still come out as much as they can out to the side, and we'll take a look more at that when we get into the articulation. But then when we get down here to the boots, I dig the boots. I dig the shin pads, the knee pads on this. I really like the shape and the sculpt of the boots down here. Although I have to admit that, and I understand, samurai didn't wear boots. They wore sandals. Forgive me, I forget what the actual name was of them. Tabby? I can't remember. I'm sorry. And these pointed boots kind of look a little Arabian to me. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, they fit with the rest of the figure, but I'm not sure how authentic this look is right here. But I do like it, and I like how it carries that gold trim motif through the whole figure. All in all, I think he looks really good. Looks really good. But now we're just going to dive right into the articulation, and we're going to see what the flaws are. First of all, the head can do a full 360, but it gets a little hung up because the helmet scrapes a little bit, so I wouldn't do that too much. As a matter of fact, that may be the last time I do that. He can look down real well, but he can't, because of the back of the helmet, he can't really look up at all. Like, that's not even looking up, that's looking straight. And there's no tilt at all in the head. So basically he can look side to side and he can look down. There's no looking up for our samurai. All right, the arms will do a full 360 spin. There's a little bit of a ball joint, but it's kind of hampered in there. The arms can come up just under 90. Once again, this is another very soft piece of rubber that kind of gets out of the way, that they can come up to 90, but then it pushes it down a little bit. And he has the bicep swivel, and you can see that the shoulder piece is attached to the bicep so that when the bicep swivel spins, the armor spins with it, so it sort of stays out of its own way. He has double jointed elbows that can get some pretty decent travel out of them. And his wrists will swivel, and his wrists will pivot in and out. Now, all of the hands that we take a look at, because like all of the members of the Spartan Collection, he comes with a varied assortment of hands, but all of the hands pivot in and out, which is too bad because I really wish these guys pivoted up and down. Nothing in the torso. We've seen that before. There's no twist, there's no crunch, there's not even any rock side to side. There's pretty static right here in the torso. And with the other Spartans, I can almost give it a pass because they're Spartans. They're meant to just stand there, shoot, and get shot at. But when you put a Spartan in armor like this, you want them to have a little bit more mobility so that you can get some more like dynamic poses out of them, out of like a martial arts hand-to-hand combat master like this. Like, see what I mean? There's nothing tilting. You can get a little bit out of it, but see, then that happens. And we've seen that happen with the Spartan Collection before. And there's nothing at the waist. Like this ab crunch, I don't even want to call it a crunch, but this ab joint right here has a little bit of twist to it. Nothing at the waist. The legs can come up fairly well. Let's get the arm out. The legs can come up fairly well. They can go back. They can come out to the side pretty decently as well. Not full 90, but that's some decent movement right there. They do have the thigh swivel, and it's hidden. It's cut right in there. I don't know if you can see that, but it's hidden underneath the skirt. So they have some real decent thigh swivel. Then they have the ugliest double-jointed knees I've ever seen, and that's saying something considering the Spartan Collection in general has some really ugly double-jointed knees. But look at how flat that goes, and the breakup of the knee pad, and just, oh, God, guys. No boot twist, but look at this. That is not articulation. That is just how rubbery the leg is. And then the ankles will swivel. Ankles will tilt back. Ankles will tilt forward. No real side-to-side rock, but toe articulation. Oh, one thing I almost forgot. Like I said before, if you look underneath this here, the legs on both sides are solid. There's no hip holstering of a weapon right here. So the only place he has to holster his weapons are on his back. Standard out of the packaging, Samurai Yoroi comes with these combination gripping pointing fingers like all of the Spartans do. He also comes with a pair of clenched fists. He comes with a pair of hands that at first glance looks like a pair of standard gripping hands, but if you take a closer look at them, you can see those cuts in between the two fingers in the middle of the hands, which is where the control rod for the Covenant sword goes, and we will take a look at that in a second. And finally, like all Spartans, he comes with this hand with this two-fingered salute, talking on comms, whatever you want to use this for. Now for weapons, Spartan Yoroi comes with this disruptor right here, and we've seen this a number of times already in some of members of the Spartan Collection. All in all, it's not a bad design. I'm just getting a little bored with it. I would have rather have seen something like a old Covenant plasma rifle or something like that, something new to the line. We've gotten this disruptor a few times before, and it's rarely changed at all as far as coloring or paint apps go. And this one is fairly easy. You just take one of these hands with the extended trigger finger, you just pop it in and twist, and there he goes. He's cocked, locked, and ready to rock. And for his other weapon, because all Spartans come with at least two, we have the Covenant Energy Sword right here, because of course we do. He's a samurai-themed Spartan. Of course he's going to have the Energy Sword with him. And for this, you have to put him in, you have to give him one of these two sets of hands that look like standard gripping hands, but like I said, you can see the notch in between the fingers right there, that you just slide that in and twist. Come on, slide it in and twist. And this is a very rubbery weapon. I feel like it won't hold its shape very well over time. He can get it in his hand. He looks good holding it. He has a very secure grip on it, but I just feel like with as flimsy of rubber as this is, and I get it, you don't want it to be hard plastic, you don't want it to break, but I really feel like this is going to be like some of the McFarlane weapons that over time they're just going to start to droop and lose their shape, lose their look, and they won't look as good. Honestly, I think they should have gone away from canon with this guy, and they should have given him a katana, a regular katana. Just, it goes so well with him. Or even if they wanted to make it an energy katana, I don't know. I gotta find something to use with this guy. See, here he is with the katana that comes with Scorpion from the McFarlane Mortal Kombat line, and truthfully, this is too small for him. Truthfully, it was too small for Scorpion, too. The handle's a little too long, the blade's a little too short, doesn't look very big or imposing, especially for something like a 7-inch figure, and I don't know, he just seems to need something like ridiculously long, like some long anime style katana, something from like, we're talking like something in the in the vicinity of like Sephiroth or Vampire Hunter D, something ridiculously long like that just to complete this look for him. Because I don't think the energy sword works well for him. I get why he comes with it, but he needs something different. I'm not even that upset with him wielding ranged weapons because it's totally within the theme of Halo, but for a melee weapon, he needs to have something that fits this armor a little better. And now for size comparison, speaking of McFarlane Toys, here he is with McFarlane Toys Mortal Kombat 11 Scorpion and DC Multiverse Azrael. Here he is with Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Snake Eyes and Cobra Commander. Here he is with Lanyard Toys, City Hunter Predator, and White Xenomorph. Once again, I have misplaced my Xenomorph drone, and I forget what the white one's name actually is. More from McFarlane Toys. Here he is between two Space Marines, our Blood Angel and our Raven Guard. And finally, here he is with fellow Spartans, Master Chief, and Noble Six. So I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I cannot recommend these for anybody except me and people like me. I know I've said this before as well, that if I wasn't such a Halo fan, if I wasn't so into Halo, into the games, I probably would have given this line a pass a long time ago. But I just love having all of these Spartans lined up on my shelf, just like I like having the Warhammer 40k Space Marines lined up on my shelf, and I have no connection to Warhammer 40k whatsoever. The only thing that's keeping me collecting these Spartan collections is my connection to Halo. This one in particular was a big letdown because the absolute lack of true articulation and posability on these figures comes out so much with this one that you want to get him into these sweeping, graceful, dynamic sword fighting poses, and you just can't do it because there is such limited articulation from the waist up. Even his head can't really do too much other than turn and look down. It's just so disappointing. It looks great, don't get me wrong. I think this is the best looking one that Jazwares has put out. And the coloring, the paint app, mine didn't have any overspray at all, which is impressive when you consider the amount of gold detailing, gold and silver, and even some blues thrown in there that we saw. But man, is it a tough sell. If you buy these figures, if you get them, if you're into the Spartan collection, great. More power to you. I'm glad you're getting joy out of them. I'm getting joy out of them too. Don't take my frustration the wrong way. It's just that they're okay. They could be so much better though. They could be so much better. And we know Jazwares has the ability to do it. We saw their Fortnite collection from a few years ago, for goodness sakes. They could do so much more with this. Let me know what you think of the Spartan Collection if you're collecting it. Let me know if you're into it. Let me know if you share my frustrations. That this could have been a great line, and as it stands, it's just something that I feel like is barely getting by, because every time I go to Walmart or Target, it doesn't seem like the stock on these things reduce at all, unless you have something special or unique that stands out, like Spartan Yoroi here. Or they're just constantly replenishing the stock, which I really don't think that's happening either. Let me know what you think. We have more coming down the line. I just got a notice from Big Bad Toy Store that I have another Space Marine coming down, and it's definitely one of my favorites, so I'm looking forward to that one. So until then, my friends, play well, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.